Welcome to Conversations with Marius Dosinescu. On this podcast, I sit down and interview the top SEO and e-commerce experts to bring you the latest insights and strategies for improving your online presence. Whether you're just starting out in the world of SEO or you're seasoned pro looking to stay up to date on the latest trends, this is the podcast for you. So, if you're ready to take your website to the next level and learn from the best in the industry, be sure to subscribe to Conversations with Marius Dosinescu. You can find us on aisa.ai, where you'll also find a wealth of useful information and amazing podcasts to help you grow your online business. Everybody, welcome to my podcast. Today, for me, it's a very important day. We have as a guest one of the most important entrepreneurs and investors in Romania, Radu Georgescu. He's also one of the people I most admire in Romania due to his background and also his dedication to startups. The subject today is about tech startups, and he's an expert in this area. Before talking more about him, welcome, Radu. Thank you for accepting my invitation.
Hey, Marius, so nice to be here. Thank you for having me. And come on, I'm in no way so exciting as you are presenting me. It's an honor to be here. I'm trying to be in good shape for you.
You know, it's very strange because I met you face to face, and also I saw a lot of videos with you, and you are very balanced. I mean, the person that you are in front of a camera or in front of a Zoom chat or whatever is the same person that you meet directly, and sometimes this is something very good because you meet somebody in real life and you realize when they are in front of camera they are totally changed, but you are one of the few that are not changing when they are in front of the camera.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to be the same. I mean, I'm the same good old guy.
Okay, thank you. So he started his entrepreneurial journey during the college when he sold his diploma project to a professor. It was a library of machine parts on GECAD platform. Is this right?
Yes, absolutely. But that was kind of my senior year in college, and got in love with computers, got in love with AutoCAD. I was a mechanical engineer to be. It was so exciting to be able to create once and replicate so many times, and to create libraries, and instead of drawing parts and everything, just go there, put in some parameters and bring it here. So it was back in '92, if I remember correctly, and I started programming one, and it was exciting. My business career have started. And man, remember it was '92 in Romania. We just got off. You are young, you don't really remember, obvious, but it was like we just got out of that odious times, and being able to start a company, to even imagine starting a company and selling a company. Moreover, it was so exciting, so exciting.
Actually, in '92, everybody was focusing in Romania. It's called Biznița, basically buying merchandising from Turkey and selling to Romanian markets. So for you to focus on a tech part of a business, to start a business in '92 with technology and thinking about technology, I think this is a real vision from a person.
Yep. Yeah. I tend to agree. I didn't know it was called vision at that time, but that's what I felt, and it was an amazing journey. So selling this, got enough money that I thought, okay, I'm not gonna need money for the rest of my life, and obviously that was not true, because I started other companies. 4 companies, 3 of them being amazing experiences, and one of them ended up being sold to Microsoft for antivirus back in 2003, and then started to create other companies. all in all, I've started as a co-founder 37 companies. Seedblink is number 37.
Wow.
That's a big number, yeah. And that's because I'm kind of quick to plug off companies that don't work, that don't promise enough. So out of them, 6 were amazing successes, and Avangate being acquired by Francisco Partners in San Francisco. So made global and moved the headquarters to San Francisco and sold it to Francisco Partners. ePayment sold to Naspers. It became PayU. So whatever PayU is globally now, it's in part being based on our technology at that time. Obviously, VectorWatch acquired by Fitbit. So quite interesting life. So 6 successes, 10 companies that didn't actually lose all the money, and all the way up to 37 amazing experiences.
So one advice that you are giving us is fail quick.
Fail hard, fail quick. Yeah, absolutely. But again, it's a matter of who am I to give advice? So it's a matter of your feeling as an entrepreneur. So I've seen very successful entrepreneurs that kind of clinched onto a business and bite the business by the butt and didn't let it go and stayed there, and eventually turn it around and make it successful. So I'm not saying let it go. There are different ways, and they all have different benefits, pros and cons, and yeah.
So it's a matter of what kind of business you have. If you want to have a lifestyle business, if you want to have a family business or whatever, then you should take this advice with a little pinch of salt. So it's very important. Everybody knows about your exit to Microsoft. I'm more interested about the journey during the negotiation. Can you tell us a few things that happened during the negotiations?
That's a long time ago. So I don't know. I wouldn't go into the cancan, into the fancy amusing part of the thing. I'd stick to the business. So yeah, it was interesting. So Microsoft at that time was not an acquisitive company. So they acquired before us. They acquired only 2 other companies, and both of them in the US, none in Europe, and they were not present in security, in the security business, right? It was not a big enough market for them. And the market was growing, and it just went above 3 billion at that time, the full market, addressable market security. And they decided to get in, and they had the option to build or buy, obviously, and they're looking around to see what technology is good enough and priced enough, right? So it was what was the best combination. So we were at that time probably number 2 as technology quality worldwide, and we were obviously expensive, but not as expensive as Symantec, for example, who was number 5 as well. So good technology, very good people. One very interesting thing is that even today, almost all the people that were relocated from RAV team, they are still in Redmond in Microsoft. So it is still related as one of the best acquisitions that Microsoft have done. So very interesting. Long negotiation, able to increase the original price significantly, and we can go in this direction if you want that, how to increase your price during negotiation and all this.
That's very interesting, because a lot of entrepreneurs are starting with a high ask, and they go lower as they go in negotiations. So that's a very interesting fact to increase the price during the negotiation? Did you manage that?
Yeah, the thing is that entrepreneurs are starting with a high price, but the buyer, if you are speaking about an exit, the buyer is coming with a very small price, right?
Yeah.
And then the question is, how do you increase the price? And at the end of the day, it's that the only thing that matters in my mind is to figure out as quick as possible. And I'm doing this as a consultant every day with colleagues, with young entrepreneurs that are in a position to either raise money or make a commercial partnership or even an M&A process like an exit, right? It's a long process. It's a very energy-sucking process. So you don't want to go through the process and go nowhere. So I think you need to make the process. The first step of the process is to really understand the balance of needs of both parties, right? So what is the actual interest? What is the need of both parties? And the needs include pricing, includes technology, includes people, includes this, that, whatever it is. If there is, and then you put them into some sort of an imaginary Venn diagram, right? If there is no intersection there, you just shake hands and go eat a steak, drink a glass of wine, and go and meet next year maybe. Mm-hmm. If there is an intersection, let's focus on the intersection. In most cases, the intersection is not as wide, so to be able to negotiate a huge price difference, between 1 million and 100 million, like for example, right? The intersection is somewhere, and you need to figure out what that intersection is. And then you go there and you get a very quick, very good deal. Of course, there are all these kind of tools. You bring in competition. If you create competition in the process, a competitive process, then obviously you get towards the end, the higher end of the intersection. But you are still in the you're not going to get out of that of the buyer's circle of interest. And the quicker you understand what their circle of interest, and the better you define your realistic circle of interest, the better it is. I've seen entrepreneurs that are that I'm working with on their side, and they're telling me, look, I want 100 million. I'm just throwing out numbers, right? I want 100 million, and I'm not going to sell beyond 95, right? Okay, fair enough. And then I go back to them and say, look, there's no deal. Let's not waste time. Let's not waste money. Let's not waste effort, energy, right? They're saying, why? I'm saying, no, because these guys are coming with 80. They're not going to be above 80. Oh, but 80 is great, so let's do it. So, man, what the hell? Well, what in the world? What's wrong with you, right? So, understanding the circles, your own circle, and define and acknowledge your own circle, and understand the buyer's circle, understand what the moderation piece is and what the negotiation parts are, and it's not only money. I mean, there are so many moving parts around there. That's a very interesting know-how to have.
That's great. It's amazing how this experience helped you. And I'm very curious, how much of these deals that you have made, including Microsoft, how much of the deal is luck, how much is product, and how much is networking? Can you define this?
Look, if you are, there are people creating companies with the objective to sell them, and then there's a lot of luck, and there's a lot of networking and trying to figure out what type of a company you are building, depending to what company you target as an acquirer. This means a very important type of know-how on the founder side of that vertical and interesting networking, and even as close as almost a promise to buy if you are doing this and that from the potential acquirer, right? Normally, what I'm a big fan of is you're trying to create a great company. Just like try to create a great company, try to create a great product that serve a real market, that serve people. That if you do this, you're either going to be profitable, or most certainly somebody's going to come and try to acquire. At the end of the day, I'm telling people, and that's my view, is that the ultimate goal of the company is not being sold, is not an exit. The ultimate goal of the company is create value for the shareholders. Now, as a company, you create value for the shareholders, of course, for the employees, for the customers, and I mean the full chain, obviously, right? And you create value in so many ways. Not only exit. So you create as a CEO of the company, as a founder, you create a great company, and that should be your objective. And then something good is going to happen.
Okay, so basically, we as a startup, as a founder, we need to focus on product and create value for the market and also for the shareholders. So basically, this is the key. And after this, we add the networking, we add the advertising, we add the everything that, and of course, a little bit of luck.
That's always have to be there. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, very interesting. Now you are investing in a lot of companies as an investor, angel investor, and also as a part of Seedblink. Can you tell us a few things about Seedblink?
Yes, Seedblink, it's a very interesting enterprise, right? So it starts from a few directions. Main one is that Europe needs consolidation towards technology startups and technology, even more mature companies, structuring. And right now, investors in different countries, so Europe, it's kind of a big 27, 28 countries and 27 legislations. There are 27 corporate laws in EU only. So it's a different way to create and understand the company in each of the countries. So that doesn't make things easy. And investors in Spain, it's not easy for them to invest in Germany, and investors from Romania cannot get really to companies in Netherlands to invest in them. So first layer is to create this unified pan-European investment, business angel investment platform, where we're bringing to the platform great technology companies across Europe, and not necessarily only, I mean, even US companies, and make them available to business angels, to family offices to invest in them. And that's one level. And then we level up and say, on the other end, this company is growing, that there is no, so Europe is missing some sort of a European NASDAQ, right? So a unified stock exchange. There are so many stock exchanges, in Amsterdam, in Paris, in Frankfurt, and so on, Warsaw, Bucharest, right? But they're so geographically focused that the investors are not actually floating across Europe, and there is no technology-oriented stock exchange that does have analysts and specific investors and that is unified on the European level. So all in all, we're actually building the full ecosystem to be able to invest in Europe, in technology companies on a consolidated basis, right? Very interesting proposition, very big dreams. We're launching this year. We are launching products every quarter, and new products like in different, completely different areas to build around this consolidation model. A lot of tools that the companies need, because the companies don't necessarily need only the investment; they need a lot of help, to be, smart money and so on. A lot of help for the companies, a lot of help for the ESOP people, a lot of help for structuring, and then a lot of help for the investors to be able to see, to understand, to help themselves companies. Super exciting. I haven't been so excited about the company that I co-founded for a long time. I'm now back into working about 80% of my professional time for this company, on this company.
Oh, that's amazing. This is very interesting. So basically, it's a platform to put together investors and also new startups, tech startups all over Europe. If you would have to describe in a very simple way, just one sentence, let's say 1 minute pitch, how will you pitch this?
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not
interesting.
I'm not gonna fall into that trap because I'm. You know what? And that's very funny. It's very funny because I'm normally looking at entrepreneurs and they don't know how to pitch their company, and I'm like, are you stupid or what? Just focus and in one sentence whatever you are doing. And it's funny to be on the other side and understand them completely, because once you are heads down in the business, just completely, roll up your sleeves, in the business, it's actually hard to raise above it, put yourself in a helicopter and see it from the other side. Of course, I do have, my vision of the company, and I have my own and the company's own one sentence pitch. Actually, you know what? Let me try give it to you. We're actually arbitraging two asset classes: equity and money in Europe for tech companies.
That's great.
Right?
This is something that I wanted to ask, because now I'm a part of an accelerator, Founders Institute Accelerator, and I found myself in a place where at the beginning I thought I knew how to pitch. And I went there and trying to pitch 1 minute pitch, 3 minute pitch, 5 minute pitch deck, and so on. And I realized that sometimes I'm going too much into details. So your description now summarize what you have to describe in order for everybody to understand. So for me, it's a great example what you've told us. Can you give some advices to the startups that are pitching to siblings regarding their pitch, of course?
No. Each of the companies and each of the founders are different, and there is no one way to do it. I mean, they need basically to convince us in the first time, and then their potential investors need to convince people that they're a great opportunity, they're a great company, and each investors have different checkboxes and different ways to look at companies. I can only speak for myself, so I'm actually looking, and that's a very personal thing, and other investors are looking at different things. So I'm looking at three pillars. One is in no specific order. One is ability to execute, one is vision, and one is chemistry. Of course, I need to be able to work with the people that I invest in, have the same values, and be able to fight for one night over ideas, and then tomorrow be actually friends and work together. Vision is that there has to be a vision of the company and what the problem the company solves, and how the problem is going to be solved, and how are you going to get to be that great company. And there is the ability to execute of the company, because the vision might be great, let's go to the moon or let's go to Mars, but can we as a team actually do that? And I would ask you personally, so if there were, you have 100 percentages and there are the three pillars, how would you split 100 percentage as importance in the three of them?
From my point of view, the part with chemistry is, I think, 50%, because the execution can come also with the help of the new money, of course, and also the vision can be completed by the two parties. But the chemistry, you cannot fake that. If you don't have chemistry with a person, actually you cannot work with him, even if you try. So I think 50% is chemistry, and the other are equal 25. This is my opinion.
Absolutely, and that's a good opinion for your investments. And again, I'm seeing people that have different approaches, and that's great. My personal opinion is, and what I'm doing, it's 80% into execution. Okay. I think that execution cannot be faked. It needs it doesn't only take money to bring execution to the team. Especially startups, you have three co-founders, and that's the team. I mean, okay, they need to be able to execute. Most of the companies that I've seen failed because of execution. They all have good visions and everything. Vision is important, and so on. Chemistry is obviously again important, otherwise they wouldn't be on the list. But in my books, ability to execute a business, right? It's the most important. Very, very interestingly, failed entrepreneurs are better than successful entrepreneurs. Very interestingly. Successful entrepreneurs are and have so many successful entrepreneur friends. They're all gonna see this and and call me and kill me. But you know what? Successful entrepreneurs are getting lazy. Yeah. Are getting self-sufficient. And there are always exceptions, and all my friends are exceptions and everything. The two of us are exceptions, and all the good things. But successful entrepreneurs, I myself, after selling a company, I'm taking 1 year off, right? Whereas failed entrepreneurs, they've been through the pains. They've understood what it takes to not fail, and that's so important. Very interesting. I will change a little bit the subject, not to upset somebody. You are getting. I know that you got involved in the education part.
But before asking you about that, I want to ask you about what are your thoughts about the current state of tech industry in Romania? Because of course you have seen from 92 until now, you have seen a lot of changes. What do you think about the tech industry in Romania now?
In one word, amazing. In multiple words, huge growth, a lot of changes for the best. And I'm going to start with the tops, right? So there was, in that decade, there was, RAV antivirus sold to Microsoft, and then Bitdefender that became Bitdefender, and then UiPath that became UiPath, right? And that's exponential. I mean, that's plain exponential. There's in between there all the Interact, to Adobe a long time ago, Rails, something to Facebook,
LiveRail.
Yeah, LiveRail to Facebook, and so many others. And I apologize for all the companies that I forgot. Greenhorn Games, last year, and so many others. And this, you park this and we'll come back. In the meanwhile, all that, let's do outsourcing because we are cheap, because it's a lot of programmers. We have, cheap workforce and cheap labor and all this thing. That was, for the time, a super good thing for the country, because a lot of management knowledge came, a lot of business knowledge came, a lot of money came in the country, right? And yeah, ideally we would have been a product-based country from the beginning, but there was no knowledge, in no way. And most of these great companies that are now around or exited already or global are started by founders like Daniel Dinesh. I mean, he's a senior ex-Microsoft guy. I mean, people need to learn from somewhere some things. So those two put together, and then UiPath being listed and a lot of people being vested and got money from tech, they're reinvesting. So all this put together created an environment that's absolutely thriving, amazing. Romania, it's one of the best countries in Central Eastern Europe for technology, and it's actually a good country for the full Europe in technology.
Is this a good time to have a tech startup in Romania or Europe? And if yes, how can they apply to Sibling? How can they get in touch with you, or what's the process for selecting those companies?
Yeah, no, it's a great time to start it. Anytime it's a great time to start a startup, right? At the end of the day, there are problems to be solved by technology every day, and the good solution, it's something that people would pay for. That's anytime. Right now, funny enough, there is money in the market. Starting good companies, it's something that will get funded. Good companies are getting funded by us, by VCs, by the environment in general. To come to Seedling, I mean, you go to the website seedling.com and just apply there, or you write to me, Radu.Georgescu@GECAD.com, or any of my colleagues. I'm going to be kind of funneled into the right place. We have the investment managers that are actually looking into the companies and actually working with the companies to find, if required, more investment that only Seedling, to find lead investor to figure out how to structure. So first-time founders don't necessarily know that the way you structure the successive funding rounds make a good company. So you can actually fail a good company by the way you structure the rounds and you price the rounds. So it's not that you need to get the best price that you can in a round, but you need to actually create your story of multiple rounds in the right way. So just apply, and companies are getting help into structuring. And on the other hand, people that want to invest in startups all over Europe, like take a look at Seedblink and find opportunities, and be able to actually help companies create your own thesis of investment, create your own idea what a portfolio investment would look like. As an investor, you don't invest in one company. That's a lottery ticket, right? You invest in a portfolio that becomes statistics, and then you become successful. You invest as a VC, and Seedblink is giving you the right tools to understand this thinking and figure out what you want to invest in and figure good companies into this. And Seedblink is having great companies in its own portfolio. I mean, from brain surgery, health tech companies, into drones, into robots, RPAs, super cool companies. It's a great portfolio.
Sounds great. In these companies, of course, there are a lot of pre-seed companies or seed companies. I think you are focused on the seed companies, but there are a lot of
seed and Series A.
Seed and Series A. Okay, that's very clear now. How do you approach risk taking in your startups? I mean, a lot of them are a risky business, let's say, high risk, high rewards. How do you approach them?
As Seedblink or me personally?
Seedblink, you personally. Now we're discussing just
principles.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go with the question? So is it like how do we get to them, or
no? Of course, you got in touch. They came to you, and you approved let's say the investment. But you also know that it's a high risk business. How do you approach this? Do you get involved more? Do you think about this like, okay, this is a risky business, we have to invest more in a part where you know that it's high risk? Or how do you approach this? I mean, for me, I'm very curious about this.
Yeah. So there are two things here. One is that there are two types of companies, funny enough, that are raising money. There are companies that come and beg for money, and there are companies that you go and beg to be allowed to invest in them, right? And it's very funny how things are creating, how the world creates those two buckets, right? Obviously, the ones that you go beg to be allowed there are the companies that are supposed to be better. And Seedblink is fighting for a seat at the table next to all the VCs. And there were times when other VCs were not allowed, and Seedblink got an investment seat at the table. And we are trying to get most of our companies like that. Now, to get to your question, everything is risky. First of all, we're trying to, because the investment decision is not with Seedblink, is with each of the investors. So each of the investors is looking at the company, is looking at the data that the company is provided, that Seedblink is providing, and make a decision. Now, what Seedblink is doing is trying to to show as non-emotional and as matter-of-fact type of facts as possible all the risks and opportunities that the company has. And actually, we do have quite a few papers saying that, look, this is a risky investment. I mean, you'll take a look and see these guys are, first-time entrepreneurs, and we're putting their risks that, actual risks that we see.
You evaluate everything before taking the risk.
Yes. And we're evaluating and presenting to the investors. This is they don't have revenues yet. They promise revenue for next year, but that's a promise, right? And we don't say we believe they will have all. We believe they will not have, right? We're just saying facts and pushing the risks and opportunities. We're trying to tell people not to invest, as I said, not to invest in one company. Investing in one company, it's a risky business. I mean, it's a lottery ticket. VCs are successful because they are not because they choose the right company, but because they are investing statistically in the right combination, right? So I think that's the difference, and that's what we're trying to convey to people, to make sure that they're looking, if they're bully towards AI, for example, and that's a very philosophical thing. You believe that AI is going to be successful, and you invest in your belief, right? But you don't pick one company because your friend has created a company, right? You pick about 10 companies, a little bit complementary. So depending on where AI is going to be successful, you pick different companies. So out of 10 companies that you invest in a portfolio, in type of a portfolio, one of them hopefully is going to get successful, and that's going to cover your full investment and some, right?
Sounds a very, very well drafted system, or very, very well constructed system. What's the failure rate, or what's the success rate in this case? You can talk about the general market, not SeedBlink or yourself.
Yeah.
What's the success rate in general?
So early stage investments, success rate as number of companies, it's below 10%. It's significantly below 10%. So a VC success is below 10%. If you are getting one successful company out of 10, that is a good number, right? So
sounds risky business indeed.
That's why VCs are looking to invest in companies that. So when a VC is coming to you and says, "Look, I want to invest in you. Show me that you can increase my value 10 times," right? That's not because they are greedy and they want to make 10 times their money. It's because statistically one of 10 companies is going to get successful, and they want each of the companies to have at least the theoretical opportunity to make 10 times money to cover. So if one company is successful, to cover the fund. And then they know that, so many other companies, the other 9, are going to be unsuccessful.
That's very, very good insight. And I think in this accelerator I've been, I saw actually a lot of entrepreneurs that are dreaming, making big. And they are focusing also a lot on financing and not on the product. And as you discussed, you told us earlier, we should focus on the product and to put it on the market, and the money will come, the success will come.
Absolutely.
You mentioned about AI. Actually, in the questions that I wrote, I didn't add anything about AI because everybody's talking about AI now. Even myself, I talked a lot. But I'm very curious about this. So how is this new AI, ChatGPT, and the new trend impacting the startups, and how do you approach this?
I'm afraid I'm not the right person to speak about it. In our group, I'm not looking for the AI part of business. So I'm afraid I'm gonna say pass for this question. Wherever I don't know enough, I don't want to kind of
Okay, no problem.
speak
I
stupid things.
mentioned there is no problem. I mean, I didn't want to approach this, but you mentioned, and I thought it's an interesting
Yeah.
question. You got involved in, a lot in education. I listened to.
Happy to speak about NFT and FTX blow up if you
I'm
want.
not. It's not my area, so I'm not. Okay. I was listening a podcast of yours, and actually, you were invited in a podcast, and you were talking about education and the fact that you are getting involved. You are going to high schools, and you talk with the students there. I was impressed about one thing that you said, that you went one time and there were only 3 or 4 students there, and you continue discussing, and it was a very interesting fact. I mean, how did you approach that? I mean, I was shocked because usually you were thinking, okay, they didn't came, okay, that's it, I'm going out. Why did you proceed?
Now the fun thing is that the ones that they didn't care didn't come. The ones that came actually cared a lot against the general type of, the other guys went, basketball, drinking, whatever, and they cared actually a lot more to come. So why punish or whatever it is, the 3, 4, 5 guys that came, because the others didn't care. And the fact that they didn't care is not something bad. I mean, if they don't care, they don't care. I mean, there are so many people caring about so many things. I mean, not everybody has to care about, speaking business. So if 3 guys care and come to speak about entrepreneurship, let's treat this respectfully and help them with whatever they need to become successful. I think it's so much more interesting for them and important for them to be 3 or 10 or 20 people in a room rather than 2 professors pushing mandatory, you have to come, 400 guys in the big amphitheater, and me on the scene, and nobody cares. And then the 4, 5, 10 that actually cares are somewhere in between the rows, and it's so hard for me to actually discover them, to be able to speak with them that cares and that are interested. So at the end of the day, the ones that don't care, don't just, Facebook because your professor sent there. Just please go and listen music. You're gonna, make more of your time, and you are actually make more of, the guys that are interested time.
Very, very interesting. Congratulations. I never thought about this, but indeed you are right. Seeing this, as you said now, it's a very good advice to focus on those ones and to help the ones that are interested. By the way, regarding the generation change, what do you see in this part? I mean, of course, I'm part of the generation over 40. You are over 50. What do you think about the new generation? How are they different than us, than the generation before them?
I wouldn't want to put stamps on generations. I think that when we were young, we were like them, and therefore, they are like us. Then that they're energetic, and we're a bit slow, a bit more experienced. Now they have a lot of energy, and they don't know. They have the advantage that they don't know, as we know, that some things cannot be done, right? So we know that, that cannot be done. They don't know that. No, funny enough, they actually break it and do that.
Great.
Exactly. So it's very interesting. So all this energy, it's actually, it feeds me, and I'm so grateful for that. Every time I'm meeting young champs and dudes and dudettes, it's amazing. They're super cool.
I'm happy to hear that, because you see a lot of news, a lot of things that the young generation is only interested about Facebook, but I think we should also see the ones that are interested, exactly like you said before. So I think it takes a few to change the world, and this will be possible.
Facebook and stuff, it's just a big fog that makes it harder for you to see, for you, not for you personally, but for us, to see and figure out who the guys, the successful guys, the interested guys in technology are, as well as interested guys in music and interesting guys in sport and so on, because it creates this foggy type of thing where everything is melted around and stuff. But I do think that there are more interested and great people in all verticals than there used to be in our times.
That's a very American way of approaching, focusing on positive and positive enforcement and devices. So I really think the ones that are listening to us, they should change a little bit their mentality and the approach of this thing. Okay, in this year, 2023, what do you think will be the biggest challenges for startups? Of course, the ones that are looking for financing, but also for the ones that are bootstrapping or they are growing their business by themselves.
Trying to streamline their cash flow, being it consumer businesses and so on. Everybody's trying to streamline their cash flow, and that means that really important services are going to get paid, but nice to have services and products are going to get sidelined. So, and if not sidelined, at least postponed. More and more projects I'm seeing being postponed. I'm going in a lot of boards, and everybody's saying no. So we still have all this funnel and all these customers. They're just postponed for next month, and it's not postponed for next month. Half of them are dead, and half of them are postponed for 1 year. So that's the real life. So I think if I were to do something, I would actually try to get realistic in my expectations and understand that customers are postponing, are sidelining projects that are not core to their business.
So it will be a very hard year for the ongoing business and also for startups.
Yeah.
That's very reassuring. Okay.
On the plus side, because you are saying about the plus side. On the plus side, the companies that are going to go through this year alive, that they're going to have a huge opportunity.
That's great. Sounds very good. On the personal side, I want to ask you how many hours do you sleep at night?
Oh, that's a funny question, and so it's anywhere between 9 and 11.
Okay, that's good.
Kind of unexpected, I guess.
Unexpected, yes, but this is good.
I'm a heavy sleeper. You see all this energy that I have. It's 5 o'clock almost in the afternoon, and I do have a lot of energy. By 8 o'clock, I'm fading out. It takes me like half hour to fade out. By 9 o'clock, I'm asleep. Wake up very early in the morning normally. So yeah, I sleep a lot.
That's good. That's a good advice. Actually, I saw in one of your interviews that even for the stressed out people, they should sleep. They should not lose sleep over the problems because they cannot solve it if they don't sleep. So it's a good
Yeah.
advice. If you would, if you have the possibility to send a message to yourself 20 when you're 20s, what will be the advice you will have given yourself?
I'd just say keep up the good work. So
That's great. So no advices.
look, man, I mean, if I were to go and advise kids, and that's what I'm doing, going to high schools and everything. My advice is kind of, the end type of advice to young guys is try things. Try as many things. I mean, each of us, we're not bad people. Each of us is good at something, right? And some people are really gifted at sports. Some people are gifted at music. Some people are gifted with this, that. Not everybody is entrepreneur. Not everybody is a music player. No, not everybody is a model or. There are so many things: doctors, engineers, mathematicians, this, that, whatever. And I think that trying things around for career, for hobbies, to actually enlarge your horizons, to better understand who you are. I think this is something that our generations did not have, because we did not have the opportunity to test, to try. Our teachers were telling us, just sit in the bank and don't move, type of thing. Yeah. And I think that trying things and exploring yourself, exploring the surroundings, exploring business, exploring music, exploring this, that's what I would do even more than what I have even done. And I was a very exploring type of a person.
That's great advice. Actually, the next question I asked during my podcast is about what books do you recommend? But I will not ask you this. When will you write your own book, your story?
Look, I have so much energy to do things. And I'm so excited to actually, I'm part of this sibling journey. And that keeps me like really working and pumped up. And I'm working in a startup. And it's funny because it's a startup and I'm doing startup-y things. I mean, rolling up the sleeves and, hiring people and I'm working on the product. I mean, better than me. I'm doing things. Writing books is, either for a huge sabbatical or for retirement or for this, for that. I'm not there.
Why I'm asking you this, because I think you have amazing insights in the market. I think a book like this will be a great thing for entrepreneurs and generation to come. That's why I'm asking you, and not because of retirement of you have time, but I really think that the effort you are putting now in startups, even through Seedling and this idea that you had to democratize investments and to grow the startup market in Romania is something amazing that you're doing. And I really think a book will help a lot of generation. I'm the lucky ones because I could discuss directly with you, but a lot of people, they don't have time to, you don't have time for them, or you don't get in touch with them, or they are too shy to contact you. So I think through a book, they can, you can inspire generation to come in terms of investment, startups, and everything that you are doing now.
Appreciate the thought. Thank you so much. I really thank you so much for it. That's a huge compliment for me. It's writing a book is not easy. Writing a book, it's hard. It's hard. It's complicated. Writing a good book, whatever. I mean, one can write, but writing a good book, it's a complicated endeavor. Takes a lot of effort and resources. It's on my bucket list for some time, for some point in time. I'm not there as yet. I'm still fighting for, day-to-day life in a startup. I mean, startup is what keeps me alive. So
that's amazing. I have my own startup now, over 40. I'm 43 years old, and I have
congratulations.
My own startup. Yeah, thank you. I'm very passionate about this, and I'm really I feel young again, actually, because I'm fighting. I'm still there, and I feel the thrills of the startup and everything. So I understand you.
Yep.
Very, very well. Okay, thank you very much for being my guest. Thank you very much for your amazing advices and the story behind the success. I hope I will be able to invite you in the future with other very interesting subject, and maybe a new successful exit. Of course.
Hopefully a successful company, and then whatever it is, being it an exit or dividends. I mean, that's always great. As long as it fulfills its vision and stuff, that's super cool.
Okay. Any last words for our
I mean, thank you for having me. It's amazing. I'm always learning a lot speaking with you. And if I were to say something, is that get successful with your second company. So second success, one success already done. Get successful once again. It's amazing. It's a great story, and you don't actually need me come and say things. You tell your own stories and advise people, and that's amazing.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being
here.
You. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.